In the small town of Willowbrook, where everyone knew everyone's business, the Tanners were a familiar family. Jona Tanner had been a devoted father to his only daughter, Lila, ever since his wife passed away 10 years ago. Their bond was once unbreakable, rooted in shared memories and love, but in recent years, that bond began to shift into something far more troubling. Jona had lost his wife in a tragic accident, and the pain had consumed him. His grief was relentless, turning into an overwhelming obsession with protecting his only child. Lila had always been his guiding star, his source of comfort. But as she grew older, Jona's love began to blur the boundaries between a father's care and something far more troubling. Lila, now a young woman, was aware of her father's increasingly controlling behavior. He kept a watchful eye on her every move, where she went, who she spent time with, what she wore. At first, Lila dismissed it as his need to keep her safe from harm, but the line between protection and possessiveness began to blur. One evening, after a heated argument over her decision to attend a friend's birthday party, Jona pulled her into a long, lingering hug. His embrace was tight, unyielding. "You're all I have left," he whispered into her ear, his voice trembling. "I can't lose you too." Lila froze, her heart pounding. She had always been her father's closest confidant, but this felt different. There was something unsettling in his touch, something more intimate than a father's embrace. "Father," she said softly, pulling away gently. "Please. This isn't right." Jona's expression darkened, his grip tightening for a brief moment before releasing her completely. "I'm only trying to protect you," he murmured, his voice heavy with emotion. But Lila couldn't shake the feeling that something was deeply wrong. That night, Lila couldn't sleep. The walls of their home seemed to close in around her, and her father's gaze haunted her. She replayed the encounter over and over in her mind, trying to rationalize his actions, convincing herself it was just his grief talking. But deep down, she knew better. Lila confided in her mother's best friend, Eva, who had always been a guiding light in her life. Eva listened carefully, her face reflecting concern with every word Lila spoke. "This isn't just about protection anymore, Lila," Eva said gently. "Your father's love has crossed a line. You need to talk to Grace." Grace was Lila's aunt, her mother's sister, and the one person who could see through Jona's facade. She had been a steady presence in their lives even after Sophia's passing, and her wisdom often guided the family through turbulent times. When Grace arrived at the Tanner household, Jona greeted her with warmth, unaware of the conversation about to unfold. He poured tea, his hand steady, but his eyes revealed the nervousness beneath his calm exterior. "Jona," Grace began, her voice firm yet kind, "we need to have a serious discussion about your relationship with Lila." "She's my daughter," Jona said, his voice thick with emotion. "I only want what's best for her." "But what's best for her isn't to be smothered by guilt and fear," Grace countered. "She needs space to grow, to become her own person. And lately, you've been blurring the lines between love and something much darker." Jona's breath hitched. The words struck a chord deeper than he expected. "I never intended." "No one intends to hurt the ones they love," Grace interrupted gently, "but intentions alone aren't enough. Lila is suffering, and she's afraid. You must let her go." Jona's hands trembled, the weight of his guilt pressing down on him like a heavy cloak. He knew she was right. His need to protect had spiraled into something toxic. "I'll send her away," he whispered, defeated. The next morning, Lila woke up to find a note on her bedside table. It was from her father. "Lila, I love you more than words can express. I've been selfish, trying to keep you close. Please, go with Grace. She'll help you find yourself again. Jona." Her heart shattered at his words. She knew he meant well, but the damage was done. The trust she once had in her father had been eroded, leaving behind a void that couldn't easily be filled. Grace arrived shortly after reading the note, her face calm but determined. "Are you ready, sweetheart?" Grace asked gently, offering her hand. Lila nodded, her eyes red from tears but her spirit strong. Together, they left the house, leaving behind the memories tainted by Jona's love that had crossed the line. Life away from Willowbrook was unfamiliar but necessary. Grace's home was a sanctuary, a place filled with warmth, laughter, and boundaries. Lila spent her days reflecting on the past, talking through her feelings, and slowly healing from the betrayal she felt. In the quiet moments, Grace shared stories of strength and resilience, reminding Lila that boundaries are meant to protect, not to imprison. "Love isn't supposed to hurt," Grace said one evening, as they sat by the fire. "It grows when it's nurtured with respect and understanding." Lila listened intently, absorbing every word. She found solace in these conversations, slowly piecing together the fractured parts of her identity. With time, her confidence returned, and she began to rediscover her passions, painting, writing, and spending time outdoors. Grace knew that healing was a gradual process, but she was determined to guide Lila through it. Months passed, and Lila's relationship with her father remained strained. Jona wrote letters, his words filled with regret and a desperate longing to mend what had been broken. But Lila struggled to find the trust that had once defined their bond. One evening, Jona arrived unannounced at Grace's home, his eyes pleading for forgiveness. Lila sat quietly, her heart heavy with conflicting emotions. "I've changed," Jona said, his voice filled with sincerity. "I'll go to counseling. I'll do whatever it takes." Lila watched him carefully, her own emotions raw but healing. "Trust takes time," she said softly. "But I'm not ready yet." Jona nodded, tears streaming down his face. "Whenever you are, I'll be here." Together, they began the slow process of rebuilding what was once lost, a journey of understanding, healing, and respect that neither could rush. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on more inspiring content like this. Your support means the world to me and helps keep this channel growing. Stay blessed and take care.